What do you do when you freeze? I just did a post the other day, and there was quite a few online entrepreneurs, school owners, who commented that they froze when they were about to post or upload or speak or record. And I want to help with my insights in this video and just sharing what I did, what helped me from being a very like a world champion imposter, very shy, couldn't speak up my mind about anything, and then to what I'm doing today. So this video is going to be all about that. And let me start with this because the thing is, and this goes for online entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, that we got things that we know we should do. When I coached brick and mortar businesses years ago, most of the things we spoke about was sales. How do you get more sales? What do you have to do? And then help them do it. Then we spoke about team. How do you get the right people? How do you talk with your team? How do you remove the people that don't belong in your team? Then we talk about leadership. Then we talk about systemizing things. And the thing is that for most entrepreneurs, what I learned was that they had some kind of stop, break, wall around these areas. And that could also be systemizing. Some entrepreneurs, they loved the flow, but they really didn't want to systemize anything. And therefore, they were often very stressed in their business. Now, coming back to entrepreneurs who are doing online work, maybe school owners, when it comes to growing a community, when it comes to growing a business online, well, probably if we are not doing AI or doing some without face and all of this, if we are not doing that, we have to be visible. We have to share our stuff. And for most online entrepreneurs, that means that we have to post and we have to upload videos. We have to comment to other people. We have to be visible. And then we have to invite to calls. We have to do sales calls if we want to grow business. And what I see is that most do have issues around these things. They freeze. And it might be some or one, it's very easy to upload or post a post. And for another, they create the post, they spend hours on it, and then they are going to hit the publish, the enter, and they freeze. But the same person who doesn't freeze might freeze when it comes to being in front of the camera and hitting that record button. And I've seen also people who talk about they are very good in a public room, being on a stage in front of people, but they cannot share their message in front of a camera. So, but the thing is that these things are walls. They are like stop signs, don't go further, and we freeze and we don't do what we're supposed to do. Even when it comes to doing a launch, I just did a launch myself. When it comes to inviting to sales calls, people freeze. And here's the difference. So if we want to grow our business and we do these things, might be that it works, might be that it doesn't work. But one thing's for sure, if we don't do them, it's probably not going to work because nobody will see your work. So we kind of have to figure out how do we unfreeze so we can post and record and upload and connect with people and sell. Sales equals money. So somehow we have to get money in, right? So if you feel like this is something you freeze, there's areas where you are not doing as much or as fast as you want to, I'll share my simple method of what I did. And just a quick background before I do that, so you know where I came from and what I'm doing today. So it's, like I said, I was a world champion imposter. I was so shy, I couldn't speak up or anything. So I kind of know, because I went from that to becoming a leader. I went from that to being on stages. I went from that in the last couple of years to become an actor, to be in front of a camera and people and all of these things. Talk about old stuff coming up, nervousness, and talk about freezing. So I'm going to share what I did. And this is part of my income breakthrough community, which is all about helping online entrepreneurs to grow their income so they can create more freedom in their life, create more impact to other people that they want to help. And if you want to join our community, it's free. There's a link below this video, and you can just join us if this video resonates with you. So what did I do? First of all, I've shared this story before, but I do remember my first business meeting. This was in 1994 or something, which means it's like 30 years ago soon. And I was a young business manager, and I rised very quickly in my team, and I became the manager of the store, and I was to do a business meeting. I froze. And I not only froze in the moment, I froze days before, maybe even a week before the meeting, because my mind spiraled. My mind created the most crazy stories about what would happen on that meeting. But not only that, my body began reacting. So I had a bad stomach, I couldn't sleep, I got stressed, and I felt it. My nervous system wouldn't calm down. And not sleeping, being stressed, nervous system not calming down, it doesn't help the meeting. Probably, maybe you can recognize this. And the meeting went so bad. I actually, when I had to pick up my notes, there was a coffee cup, and I picked the notes. The coffee cup spilled, coffee all over. I couldn't read my notes. It was a disaster. So I was there, all people was looking at me. I think there were around 50 people. And I was just getting red in my head, and I felt the nervousness was just like rising inside of me, and I couldn't even speak anymore. I froze. So I stuttered, and I became even more nervous. It was a disaster. And I had more meetings like that, and I hated them. And the thing was, and this is one of my things, so many people, they talk about just push through it, and I did for years. I pushed through it, but there was one thing, which is one of the things for this video, is that even though I pushed through it, it didn't remove the things that caused the anxiety. And today I say it like this because there are good things. You have a dream, you have goals, you want to achieve something. And I say, you're here, we have a rubber band, and you try, you expand, and you know the rubber band gets tightened. We talk about getting out of the comfort zone, all of these things. But what happens when we just push? It's this end that will like this. And the rubber band goes like, ouch, and that hurts. And I've been through it, so it's just passion and excitement coming out from me today. And it hurts like I don't know what. And the thing is, if we just try push, maybe we can push through it. But the fact is that the thing that is down there, I call it hidden patterns, down there in your uncertainty, down there in your subconscious, down there in your system, those fears, deep-rooted fears, which are not just showing up on the wall saying, hey, this is your fear, saying you shouldn't do this or that. It's hidden in there. They're still there. So we expand, we try, and ouch. It hurts. Makes sense? So for me, I did this. I did this for years. I tried to push through it. I tried to become stronger. I said to myself, I'm going to force this. I'm going to sharpen my mind, all of these things. And yes, it did help somehow, some way. And I did do business meetings, and I got into the second business. I was headhunted into co-creating a coffee shop business, and we went from zero. I had 500 people in my team after 12 years. And a lot of meetings. And yes, with repetition, something became easier. But the fact was, and I do recognize this, I felt it, that the roots were the same. The fear was there. So even though I did a lot of it was still like, ouch, this happened. So what I learned after my big crash some years ago was the opposite. So if we begin, and I'm going to share the 4 steps or how many it is, if we work with this one instead, with what's in the hidden patterns, what will happen is we begin to expand, and that expansion will not feel as limited, as how do you say that, as frightened as it did before. But when we work down here, now what happens is this one is going to release. So it's going to be more like this, which means the rubber band will go up. So, and I've seen this again and again. I wasn't that clear about it. There was just some part of me that knew these things, even though I couldn't put words on them. So when I did seminars back in 2014, 15, 16 or something, and I coached plus 100 entrepreneurs, I helped them with these things because I could sense there was something holding them back. And instead of just doing, ouch, we did, which did that many people have experienced, and I got so many, and I just went through them, some of them. Some have experienced pains in their body that just magically disappeared in a couple of weeks after doing this one. Then they got a new job. Then they found their dream boyfriend. And I know one of the people who was a participant and also became a client of mine, that dream boyfriend, she was so scared and shy before we started working together. That dream boyfriend showed up. They had a kid together. She got a raise. She got a lot of more money, and she went like this with her body instead of like this with pain in her stomach. And if we speak about business owners, one that came to mind because I just shared that in another place, grew his companies like 10 times or something in 4 or 6 months. And what happened there was just like a release of energy that was stuck in there. So by shifting a few simple things in strategies in his company, what we also did was work with the hidden patterns. I didn't know it at that time, but I know it today, which just unleashed him and made him 10 times his business. So if we come back to the topic from today, if you freeze when you want to share your message, if you freeze when you want to record in front of the camera, if you freeze if you want to upload your videos, if you freeze if you want to contact someone for a sales call, here's the thing. As I shared in the beginning, I pushed through just figuring strategies and all of that, but it didn't help with the hidden patterns. So instead, what I learned now is, first of all, not fight this, because, and I ask this as a question, if you fight this, who are you actually fighting? Right? Yourself. And we don't want to fight ourselves. So instead, come from a loving and caring and empathic way of seeing this. So imagine you had a little child, and that little child was very nervous about something, and you just push them out into the water and say, okay, learn to swim. Well, somebody does that, and it works for some, but also I can tell you there's traumas involved with that. But instead now, imagine you actually talked with the child and you had love and empathy and you were cared about it. You listened to those emotions. You said, understand that you are anxious. I do understand that this is very full of fear to jumping into the pool, but we can do this together, right? I'm going to help you. I'm going to support you. And it's okay if it doesn't work first time. And then maybe just the feet down and maybe the legs down. You understand? And getting them up and calming them, and that's okay, and regulating them. And that's the exact thing. So instead of pushing it, what I found, and especially when I started doing my acting stuff, because some of the old fears came up again. And early on, I would just have pushed them. What I am doing now is, first of all, stay with them. Stay present. That's the first step. Stay present with them. So if you are freezing, you created a post or you're going to record your video and you are freezing, just acknowledge this. Don't try to force anything, and see if you can not go back from publishing or recording or anything, but just being present with what's going on right now. See if you can listen to your thoughts, see if you can be aware of your emotions, feel them, and see what's going on. And like with that little kid with the pool, don't force anything. Just listen. And just observe. Observe your mind. And no, it's not you, it's just your mind. It's an old pattern that's speaking loud. And just listen to what's saying. Don't force anything, just listen. And if it's emotional, just be aware with those emotions. Don't force anything, don't run away from it, stay with it. Because here's the powerful thing. When we do that, it rises, and then, kind of like boiling water, if you take the lid off, it will fall down again. And then from there, when you did that, you can acknowledge yourself and say, well done, like with the kid. Don't force, don't say I'm stupid or anything. Actually acknowledge yourself. That's the second thing, and say, well done. Very, very, very good. I did it. And then from there, when everything's calmed down, then take the action. Meaning just push the button. And then again observe, how does it feel? Most times it's not sure that everything has been released and it's just like happy, happy, happy and you feel nothing. You might still feel something. But here's the thing that I've experienced is that if the story was like a 10, 1 out of 10, 10 is highest, it was a 10 in its energy, which made I had to use a lot of force to publish, or I had to use a lot of force to put the record. I had to use a lot of force to be in front of the camera. Now, when I stay with this, and it goes down, and I'm saying to myself, well, it's going good. It's okay. It's okay that I feel all of these emotions. It's okay that story's in there. It's an old pattern. It's a hidden pattern that's showing up. But as we stay with it, it's going to be calmer. And as it becomes calmer, the wall is not as big. It's kind of like you release some of the weight that you had with you, which means, let's say it gets to 40% instead of, so it's a 4 instead of a 10. Now you're going to push and maybe publish or record or whatever it is. Maybe you still feel it, but it's less. So it's less you have to force, and you do it. And then you sit with it and you experience what's happening now. Listen to the stories. Be aware. Observe your emotions and just let it do its job again. And then again, acknowledge yourself. And maybe journal about the experience, like the last step, you just journal about it. What happened? What did my body say? What did my body, how did it react? Okay, it was an old pattern. And then, but I did publish, and then what happened there? And then the next time you'll probably see, maybe it's going to happen again, but maybe it's going to be an 8 or a 6 instead of a 10. And you regulate it, you sit with it, you're aware, you let it do its job. And then it's going to be maybe a 2 this time. So it's going to be easier and easier and easier, but not from force, not from you fighting yourself, from caring and loving and being empathic with yourself. I hope this helped. I was a little enthusiastic in this one. There was no preparation or anything. I just felt like sharing this, and it's been part of my journey. And as I said in the beginning, I was a world champion imposter, full of shyness, full of guilt, full of shame, full of all of these things. And I've been on stages in front of thousands of people, and I pushed through it. I later on learned these things through my second life crisis. I will not share it in this video, but the thing is, that cracked me open. That led me to begin to feel myself. And from there, I learned these things by experience, which means I've had roles in plus 30 movies and lots of commercials and things. And yes, I can still feel some of this sometimes. But it's not holding me back anymore. And second of all, it led me on an adventure, because that's the thing, right? It led me on an adventure where I experienced so many awesome things. So, that was a lot. First of all, please give it a like, this video, if there was just a little bit you could take from this. And also, I would love, just subscribe to this channel if you're not with me already, because this is all about these things. I'm sharing as we go. I'm sharing as I'm learning from my own community, speaking with people, doing my own stuff and making my own failures and all of this, but also from my journey and the things that help me to make the hidden patterns visible so I can begin to shift those things and make life easier. So subscribe, and also again, if you want to join the community, the link is below. And we also there's a call, and I call it an income decoder, where you can figure out what are your numbers, and you can start tracking that when we talk about income, when we talk about your mind, when we talk about your emotional being around money. So I enjoyed it. And one question for you, just one question. I'm actually curious, where do you freeze? And then if you try this, I invite you to do it. I would love to understand what happened after. See you in the next one.